The NBA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gam Podcast Network is brought to you by Onyx Fantasy. Their company customers play just $5, get $100 bonus funds. We use promo code NBA SGPN. And welcome everyone to the NBA Gam Podcast here on the Sports Gam Podcast Network. Currently Wednesday morning, December 17th, around 11 a.m. Eastern. I'm your host, Reichel. Once again, joined by Lonte Smith. Together, going to break down the games for Wednesday. Not many games. We have two of them. But either way, point is we're going to break down the two matchups. Lonte, how's it going with you? What's up?
Yeah, man, it's going pretty good. Got a good game last night. I didn't hit the lock with the Spurs plus 2.5, but I mean they were right there. Just a big fourth quarter from the Knicks, and they showed that they're capable. I mean, crunch time is just something that the Knicks thrive in. Fourth quarters they thrive in. So that's something to put in your pocket going forward. But overall, pretty good, man. Excited for the two games today.
Yeah, we're going to start by recapping what happened for the NBA Cup final. Of course, as the Knicks got the job done, nice second half by them, and the Knicks won their first ever title of any kind in about 40-something years. But either way, Brunson was great down the stretch, ended up winning the NBA Cup MVP. Besides that, Mitchell Robinson was great as well. Anunoby had a great game. And it felt like the Spurs were there, but unfortunately, Wemby was not very good yesterday. And on top of that, Barnes missed a bunch of threes, and Champagny was horrific. But either way, I'll ask you for your first, I'd say, thoughts on the actual game itself. Anything surprise you from the game yesterday?
Nothing really surprised me. I thought it would be a competitive game, which it was. I think it was kind of a coin flip game, which is why I kind of took the points. I thought it should be probably about pick 'em. But again, I kind of understood why the number was the way it was because of the uncertainty of Wemby's minutes. And I think after we did the show, a couple of reports came out, some interviews with the Spurs staff saying that he would play around the same amount of minutes. So he didn't start the first quarter kind of like he did in the first game. And I think you kind of see some of the not that they were wore down, but they put a lot of energy into that OKC win, which I kind of thought that would be the case. But I mean, they still came out and played well. I mean, the Knicks just kind of outlasted them. I think it was Wemby was dealing with the death of his grandmother, I think. So, yeah. I mean, that's always difficult on top of, playing probably about a third of the minutes that I would say a fourth of the minutes that you normally play. So, I didn't take away much from it. I mean, both teams, I don't have any differing opinions about it, which means the game probably played out how I thought it should. The Knicks are just really good in the clutch, man. So that's the main takeaway. It's just like the Knicks in fourth quarters and crunch time when the game is close, they have a really innate ability to get things done in multiple ways. So shout out to Brunson, shout out to the Knicks. They grounded it out in that second half and they got it done. So not a ton of takeaways for me, big picture takeaways.
Yeah, it's really tricky to have one game determine your entire opinion on a team. When we saw the Spurs, for example, lose in the final, but they beat OKC. So they beat what was viewed as an unbeatable opponent, and now we're supposed to roast them because they lost one game to the Knicks. It's really not what I had in mind, but at the same point, it does open the door to some conversations because the Spurs, I do think their guards are fine. Of course, Wemby's Wemby. I'm still not a big fan of their other forwards. You're looking at Barnes, you're looking at Champagny, Keldon Johnson. I think that's the area where you might have to upgrade at some point. You could argue that this year they might be going for it, or maybe this year they're just going to see what happens, and then maybe next year they'll make some trades, they'll push some chips in. I don't see them really winning anything until they upgrade that position group. I think that their small forwards are, in my opinion, not good enough. I know Champagny tends to be better than that, and he was basically unplayable yesterday. Keldon Johnson, we know, can be quite streaky. He's had a pretty, I'll say, up and down career. And Barnes, we know, in big games, tends to be a very inefficient shooter. I'll put it that way. He was 0 for 4 from 3 yesterday, 4 for 9 from the floor, so he had 11 points just fine. But is that a fair statement? Because Cornette was really good. I know that Fox and Castle were fine as well. Not really efficiency-wise, but based on an intensity, they looked fine. I do want to ask you, though, Do you agree with me that the Spurs maybe aren't going to be inner circle title contenders until they upgrade that Harrison Barnes Champagny position?
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I also think they don't have enough knockdown shooters. De'Aaron Fox shoots it well, and they play well off the ball. But as far as that forward position, they do need to upgrade it. I like Barnes and Champagny as like a change of pace, maybe in a playoff setting when things are a little bit slowed down, and they got more days off. They can kind of execute, especially Barnes. But Champagny's a little bit too inconsistent. He plays well in certain spots, but just not consistent. And then you're also relying, on a talented rookie, Dylan Harper, to kind of change the pace of the game. And I mean, Castle's great, but he can't shoot it well. Fox is better with the ball in his hands than without, although he can, I would say Fox is probably Vassell's probably the best shooter. I would say Fox is the second best shooter, and he's the main facilitator. So it's kind of some tug and pull in that situation, but overall, 100% agree. I think they got to upgrade that small forward position. I don't know if you maybe can package up some things to get a play. I don't even know a player that they can get. I mean, I know the Giannis thing is out there, but that would probably put them way over the top, and then they would, accent to their depth. But
the Giannis move would be a massive offseason move. It does feel like a Giannis trade would happen during the offseason. I don't think the Spurs are going to do much this year. I think they're just going to see what they have so far and reevaluate. That's kind of what I'm expecting.
Yeah.
But I do think they need to upgrade that. As you said before, they could use a few more shooters. I do think that position, I know Barnes in theory and Champagne is what they're there to do, but I think you can upgrade the actual shooting consistency from that.
Yeah, we're talking about getting to the next level. Like you can't get that. You can't get there with Barnes. And
I'm not saying they were going to get this particular guy, but do you think they would be better with a Trey Murphy type? Of course you would.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Trey Murphy, I think is a guy. Who else is out there at that wing position? I can't really think of anybody right now off the top of my head. But Trey is a good example of a guy.
That's an example of a guy that I was thinking.
Yeah, he's an example of a guy who can shoot the ball really well. He can play defense. Yeah, I think Trey's. I
don't think Michael Porter Jr. is the guy that I'm referring to, but he would give you a scoring punch from the small forward position. The thing about Barnes and about Champagny, I know you can make the argument that Barnes can occasionally get downhill. They both really can't create their own shot. And you could argue that as long as you have Fox and you have Wemby, you might not need that. You can never have enough shot creators on the court. And it feels like when Barnes and or Champagny's outside shot is not really falling in that catch and shoot, I'd say, responsibility, what are they going to do for you on the court? Basically nothing. Yeah. I think you need a little bit more offensive creativity, which can get unlocked by getting another shot creator from that small forward position.
Yeah, just a shot maker. I know that they're probably not going to do it. But Malik Beasley would be perfect. He's a shot.
Perfect. Maker. Yeah, he's available.
He's a shot maker. I know they're not going to do it because of what happened, but
maybe after this.
Yeah, he's a perfect example of a guy who can just spot up. I mean, similar to what he did in Detroit, could spot up, shoot threes. And you know what? Speaking of Detroit, I think Tobias Harris would be a good spot for them too.
I don't think Detroit's going to
they're probably not. But we're speaking of just players, and I think Tobias Harris would fit that role. Like a player of his caliber, would fit that role.
Yeah, I think the point once again though is that even though I don't want to have that many takeaways from one game because they just beat OKC, I do think their small forward position group is alarming, and I think they need to improve that if they want to make the next leap at some point, whether it's this year or down the road. So that was kind of my thoughts there. As for the Knicks, good for them. Nice job by Kolek, who played very well. Nice job by the Knicks bench to get the job done. I also like how people were grouping Jordan Clarkson into the group of Knicks bench players to help them win, talking about how, this is their annual salary. This is, what they're going to make this year. Yeah, I don't think people realize Jordan Clarkson's made $128 million. You might want to separate him for the sake of this experiment. Like Kolek, I'm happy for. Good for all that stuff. But Jordan Clarkson doesn't really need the extra, a couple $100,000. He's made $128 million. I think Jordan Clarkson's fine at this point in his career. But either way, anything else you want to add? Did you like the Vegas atmosphere? Do you think it was a little bit underwhelming? Any thoughts on the actual venue?
Yeah, I do like it. I just wish I wish they started it on a different time, and I wish it was on a different date. Make it on a weekend, where you would get a little bit more fanfare. I mean, 5:30. It was 5:30 Vegas time.
So you think it should be a Friday, Sunday?
Yeah, I think it should be. I think it should be Friday, Sunday. I mean, keep it on the weekend. You'll get a lot more fanfare there. I mean, it's hard to get fans to come on to come to an event like this in Vegas on a Tuesday night. Like that's tough to do, man. But overall, I do like it though. I mean, I wish that it would be like a weekend, like you said, just like how they do like the Final Four and the national championship. It's always
championships on Monday.
Yeah, but my thing it would be like a Friday, Saturday into a Monday. So you're basically all in one weekend. So I wish they did it like that. But overall, I like it though. I do like it.
Yeah, I'll put it this way. My main issue with the NBA Cup is simple, which maybe you could argue that it's a mental stigma that I have. I think the event's less important when it's not on regular television. If you have all of these events only on streaming platforms and you have to dig in order to actually find the thing, I'm just mentally not going to care as much by comparison to if it was on regular NBC.
Yeah,
I understand that, you want to get extra money. Streaming platforms are full of greed. I get all that. But I do think at the end of the day, when you're putting a random game on a streaming platform and then you're advertising it as a championship,
that's right.
It's going to feel a little bit fake to me. If it was on regular TV and you can get potentially millions of people watching it, I would rather see it on TV as opposed to trying to remember what streaming platform it's on. By the way, a very important game. There's a title at stake. By the way, it's not on regular television.
That's a good point.
You can't find it. You got to actually dig to get it. So maybe that's just me. I'm not sure if other people had the same type of reaction to it. But the games lost some significance to me when you buried it on a streaming platform and you didn't have it on TV. Is that fair?
No, I agree with that. I would say their coverage is so much better than all these other like their coverage of the game. They're like
it's not about the coverage. It's more just about
I get it.
How I feel about how you're claiming this is a very important event for the NBA, but you just can't find it on TV.
Yeah, I agree with that. I was just saying, like in general, like their coverage is really, really good. Like,
oh no, it's the best NBA coverage around. I just want to point out
you can easily put that on NBC though, like and have it for everybody.
Look, Amazon does a great job just by comparison, but it feels Thursday Night Football, where it's like, all right, this is important, but we're not going to have it on TV. And you're going to have to pay extra to watch it. It's like, I'm just not going to be as interested as I would have been had it been on TV. That's kind of how I feel, but maybe that's a personal thing. You can let me know in the comment section down below if you agree or disagree. But I do think it loses a little bit of luster when you bury it on a streaming platform. That's kind of how I feel. But anyway, that's going to wrap it up for the NBA Cup recap. Congrats once again to the Knicks. A reminder, the game doesn't count towards a record. So the Knicks won a game that didn't count. But they won a title out of it. So there we go. Anyway, before we get into the actual games, a reminder that you can check out all of our free picks and podcasts at one easy location. Check out the app in the App Store, the SGPN app. Download it for free in the App Store. Just type in SGPN to get access to all of our free picks and podcasts in one easy location. Download the SGPN app. So moving on to the actual card here for Wednesday. Once again, not a good card, but it is what it is. So for the first game, players who are taking on the Bulls, Cavs are laying 4.5 on the road, and the over-unders at 242.5. Injury report. Cavs have the main guys playing, except for Mobley. Mobley's out, Merrill's out, Nance is out, and Strus, I forgot, is still on the team. He has still not played any games this season. Now for Chicago, I see Dosunmu is questionable. That is it. Now the Bulls are 10-15. They were good for a couple weeks, then they fell apart. As for Cleveland, they had the highest preseason win total of any Eastern Conference team, and they are really not that good. They are 15-12. Their last couple games have been very underwhelming. They had a bad loss against the Warriors with no Steph, then barely beat the Wizards. I believe they trailed by 18 entering the fourth quarter of that game, then lost to Charlotte at home and scored 0 points in the entire overtime. So Cleveland has been bad for a while. They are still a playoff team, of course, but their expectations were being a potential 1 seed in the East. They're laying 4.5 against the Bulls team in free fall. That last time we saw them lost to New Orleans at home in their last game. Lonte, I'll ask you, Cleveland worth fading blindly, or is 4.5 too short? Because Chicago is worth fading even more than Cleveland is.
Yeah, you know what? Both of these teams have been, in similar trajectories, but the only difference is that the Cavs are not expected to be this. The Bulls, we know what they are in the middle. They're probably like they're a 500 team for the most part. You're going to be fighting for a play-in and likely lose in the first round of that play-in. So, not really surprised at anything that the Bulls have done. But the Cavs, man, on the other end, they have not been the same. And this took a little bit of money. I think it opened 5.5, and the Bulls took some money. Cleveland's just struggling, man, and they're saying all the right things, but it's just not.
It was 5.5 last night, by the way. Yeah. It has moved to 4.5.
Yeah, so like I agree with that move. Like I said, Donovan Mitchell, he's saying all the right things about the fans should be booing him, and they got to put together a better product. I'm just not sure. I have to see it first. Like I'm not sure if I can believe that right now. I mean, he probably means it, but it's just like I got to see it first. They're 3-7, ATS the last 10, 8-19 overall. 7-17, ATS is a favorite. So, like, they're just not getting the job done. And you talked about their losses. They lost straight up as an 8.5, 11.5, and a 10.5 point favorite all this month. So
that one was lost to the Wizards too. They were favored by a ton of that game.
Yeah, they were favored for 16.5. They should have lost that game. The Wizards kind of just gave it up. But yeah, I can't trust Cleveland here. I mean, Chicago is what they are. What they are. I mean, they're 2-8 ATS the last 10. Their defense has been struggling a little bit, but I mean, they're great as a dog. They covered 8 of 11 as a dog. I would like to be getting a 5.5, but I think anything above 3.5 is a go on Chicago. I mean, it's going to be a high-paced game. I like the over. And I think that both teams will be able to score. But in the end, I think Chicago will do just enough to get us home with this number. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they're fighting to win this game outright. So I do like the Bulls in this spot.
Yeah, I think I'm going to disagree, but it's mainly because even though both teams are untrustworthy, Chicago is just much worse. So I do think Cleveland should find a way to get the job done. They won the first game this season on the road in Chicago, so I know they can handle the environment. But to read off the recent results for Chicago, these are the last couple of home games for Chicago. Lost to New Orleans by 10. Lost to Golden State by 32. Lost to Indiana by 15. Lost to the Nets by 10. They beat the Wizards by 1 in a game they probably should have lost. A loss to Miami by 36. Lost to San Antonio by 4. Point is, they have been horrific at home. Their last 4 home games, once again, they've lost by double digits to the Pelicans, the Warriors, the Pacers, and the Nets. I'm good. With the Bulls. No, I'm fine. I think Cleveland's not a good team, of course, but I do think they have enough talent to capitalize on a really bad defense. I think you're looking at a spot where the Bulls can't guard Donovan Mitchell. I know Jared Allen was not very good against Charlotte last game. First came back from injury. Think he should look better. I don't really know what's going on with Vucevic right now for Chicago. He's getting soft benched in almost every game at this point. So I don't actually know what their plan is. You could argue maybe they want to use more Jalen Smith and more Zach Collins. So we have seen Vucevic we've just seen his role deteriorate for the last couple of weeks. But besides Giddey, and even Giddey's shot can be pretty up and down, I think Mitchell's the best player on the court by a mile. I don't think it's that close. So based on that, I think I'll pick Cleveland with their firepower to have enough answers to outscore Chicago in this game. I didn't mind the over in this one, but Chicago getting blown out in 4 straight home games to borderline tanking teams. Golden State's not fully tanking, but that team we know is probably going to be a play-in team. And on top of that, I have to point out that Curry did not play in that game, and they lost by 32. So based on that, I got to fade Chicago. They're getting their ass kicked in almost every home game. Cleveland, look, they had all the right quotes. Mitchell saying he has to have a great game. If he has an off game, they're going to lose. He's right. I mean, the fact is the supporting cast has not been very good. Garland has not been very good, and he's been injured for really the entire season. But based on the actual spread, I still think it's pretty short when one team consistently gets buried at home, and they've been getting buried by everybody for the last month and a half. So I got Cleveland here. I disagree. I like the over, though. I see points. I don't think either team can really play much defense. First game of the season ended up landing 250. So I like the over in this game, but I think it's mainly picking Mitchell to go for 35 or 40. It's kind of where I'm at, but I'll go Cleveland. Give me Donovan Mitchell to carry this team on his back.
Yeah, I mean, I can't bet them right now. They got to show me. I'm not disagreeing with anything you said, but they just got to show me.
I feel the same way about the Bulls, so that's why both these teams I can't trust at all. But at least Cleveland has talent.
Dog, though. Like at least they're good as a dog.
I get it. Once again, if you want to go with Chicago, I understand completely because I was low on Cleveland going into the season. But at the same point, when you have Giddey and basically nobody else, especially since Vucevic has fallen off a cliff, at least Cleveland has options. I know Garland has not been very good this season, but at least he's healthy. I love Tyson off the bench. Yeah, they have some guys that they can actually throw in there to give them a spark. Chicago doesn't have that, as far as I'm concerned. So I'll go Cleveland, but I'm not happy about it. That's kind of where I'm at for this one. Yeah. Over or under in this game?
Over. Love the over. I mean, if you look at the way that these teams play, I mean, they're playing high pace. They're gonna push the ball. 8 of the 11 road games for Cleveland have gone over. Chicago's also allowed 120 plus in 3 of their last 5. Their opponents have averaged over 120 on 49% shooting over the last 9 games. So I think we should see a lot of points here. I think both teams can get to, what are you looking at, 120?
Yeah, the first meeting was 128, 122.
Yeah, that's about the same. Just maybe we can get a 128, 124 for the Cavs. But yeah, I like that as well.
Anything else you want to add for this game?
No, that's about it.
Cool. So before we get into the second game on the card, a reminder, they're brought to you by our sponsor, Kalshi. So you want to check out real money prediction markets that are legal in all 50 states. Check out Kalshi. You can trade a ton of markets in sports, the NFL, bowl game season for college football, college basketball, the NBA, NHL, and more. Plus, you can also trade props like first touchdowns. Besides sports, they have a ton of other options, including politics, entertainment, and even weather. And a reminder that you can get a nice deal at sign up with us at Kalshi. New customers get $20 when you use the code SGPN at sign up. It's Kalshi, Kalshi, promo code SGPN for a free $20 at sign up. We're also brought to you by Running Fantasy. If you want to check out our pick'em entries, chance to win 5,000 times your entry. We'll give out an entry at the end of the show. Pick higher or lower on player stats. Mix match your sports with the NFL, with college, with the NBA, NHL, UFC. A lot of options, but a reminder, you can win up to 5,000 times your entry. Pick higher or lower on different stats. And you can also check out the new offer for new customers. Play just $5, get $100 bonus funds. Use promo code NBA SGPN. Welcome back, everyone, to the Game Podcast. Finished going through the first game on the card. Time to go on into the second game. The Grizzlies are taking on the Timberwolves in Minnesota. Timberwolves laying 7.5. The over-under is at 230.5. For the injury report, Anthony Edwards, a maybe once again. Missed the last couple games. He is still questionable for this one, and Mike Conley's out. For the Grizzlies, the whole team we know is basically injured. You have no Edey, you have no Jerome, no Conchar, no Pippen, no Cam Spencer. So big deal there. Spencer has been very good. And Brandon Clark is questionable, so he might play. And Ja is questionable. So, Lonte, I'll ask you, Minnesota is kind of in the same boat as Cleveland, where they're over 500, but they're not as good as people thought they were going to be. The Grizzlies have not been good either, but they've played better recently. They own the Clippers, 3-0 this season against the Clippers. They buried them in the last game. But 7.5 with half of the Grizzlies team missing, and maybe Ant's going to play. What do you like in this game?
Yeah, it's a lot of uncertainty in this game. It's kind of a stay away for me. It would be Grizzlies or pass. I know they don't play. They typically don't play well against good teams, but they have been playing well as of late. They've won 3 out of the past 4, 6 of their past 8. They're 7-3 ATS the last 10. And when I'm looking at Minnesota, although they've been winning 4-1 in their last 5 straight up, haven't been covering. They're 4-6 ATS last 10, 5-8 at home, and 8-13 as a favorite. Now, Ant being out, or his basically like him being there, I think that, I mean, obviously it's a big deal, but I don't think it's as big a deal against this matchup with the Grizzlies, simply because they don't have a ton of perimeter defenders to guard anybody. So I think Bones Highland should have a good day. Maybe see some Rob Dillingham minutes. I just don't think that the Ant, like, I just don't think that he'll be missed as much in this specific matchup just because of the way the Grizzlies play and how they don't guard anyway. So they should have success. Nas Reed should play fine. What's my guy's name? The shooter Dante should be fine. Like they should be fine offensively. And the Grizzlies don't pose that much of a threat. Gobert should be fine. Like against this in this matchup with no ED. So yeah, it would be Timberwolves, and I said Grizzlies earlier. I meant it would be Timberwolves or nothing for me. I mean, I don't trust the Grizzlies to kind of punch up in class. Although we talked about the Timberwolves and their lack of their lack of winning against quality teams, but I think the Grizzlies are just right in that middle ground. So it would be Timberwolves or nothing.
Yeah, I think I agree for this one. Nice win for the Grizzlies last time out. Yeah. I mean, the Clippers are a joke, so don't get me wrong, a win's a win. But the issue is still the same for Memphis with the ED injury. They can't rebound the damn ball. And even in the last win they had, I know that the Clippers pulled all the starters. The Clippers still won the rebounding battle despite getting blown out. Zubac had a solid rebounding game. Game before that, Nurkic had about 17 rebounds. I just have a question regarding Memphis. How are they supposed to stop Randall and Gobert and even Reed off the bench from just feasting on the boards the entire game? And I don't see that happening. You could argue Brandon Clark coming back is going to help. Potentially, we'll see. I don't know how many minutes he's going to play. We know Jaren Jackson Jr. never rebounds the ball. Landell can rebound a little bit, but Gobert is just naturally bigger than, once again, Landell. So I see a really big problem on the interior for Memphis in this game. Spencer was a flamethrower last game, and he's not going to play. So I question the actual shooting for Memphis. I question the actual offense. And the fact is, when Minnesota can go bully ball and go big with Randall and Gobert and even Reed, I just expect Minnesota to kill this team on the boards. And Gobert left the last game early. I believe he had a kid. So congratulations to Gobert, who had to leave because his wife went into labor mid-game. So I think he'll play well in general. But the question is pretty simple. Do I think Memphis can overcome the lack of rebounding in this game? And the answer is no. Because if they're going to, they need good outside shooting. And Spencer's not going to play. So they don't have many good shooters anyway on the roster. And now you have a lack of size and a lack of shooting with Spencer not playing. So based on that, I think I got to go with the Timberwolves here, just based on the bad matchup for Memphis. So I'll ask you, Lonte, when it comes to actual game plan for Minnesota, isn't it just bully ball the entire game?
100%. You got to. You got a three big rotation. I wouldn't be surprised if we see them on the floor like a lot at the same time, just to negate. And we know Jaren has a lot of foul trouble issues. He's coming off a big night, but again, he's still only 4 rebounds. But he had 31 points. Yeah, I just don't think without ED in the lineup, and I mean they play with a lot of pace, but I think Timberwolves are going to slow the game down. They're going to pound the ball on the inside, and I mean I wouldn't be surprised if we see a couple of double doubles from 2 of these 3 guys. So yeah, I completely agree. I think they pound them in the paint. Foul trouble becomes an issue, and then the Timberwolves kind of pull away. And I'm talking about my handicap is based on strictly like not having Ant in the lineup. So.
Yeah, I do want to point out, though, that I did actually have some money on Gobert against the Warriors, and he had a double-double, had a monster game. I see a pretty similar matchup here. It's not the exact same matchup, obviously, but the whole takeaway with Golden State, with Draymond not playing, was how the hell are they going to rebound the ball? Because they're using post, they're trying to invent some minutes for some guys, and Gobert just ate everybody. And I could see that happening again in this game. Randall was great in that game, too, because they didn't have the matchup size-wise to actually body Randall up. I don't see the Grizzlies having that either. And if Jaren Jackson Jr. is in foul trouble immediately, the offense is going to suck because they don't have any other options. So I see a lot of problems here for Memphis. I've been critical of Minnesota this season, rightfully so. But my main issues for Minnesota is them against good teams. They're awful against teams above 500. But against teams below 500, they tend to take care of business. It's why their overall record is pretty good. The Timberwolves this season are 17-9, and they've barely beaten any teams above 500. So against bad teams, they tend to step up. I think they'll do the same thing here. Give me the Timberwolves at -7.5 for this one. For the total, I like the under in this game. I'm not sure the Grizzlies can score, especially with Spencer not playing. The shooting's a problem. If you want to throw in Vince Williams minutes, I like him. He can't shoot either. So not really many floor spacers on the actual rotation for the Grizzlies. I like the under in this game. I think the Grizzlies might finish this game with like 105. I'll go for Minnesota like 117, 105. But any thoughts on the total?
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, I think it's correlated. If you like Timberwolves, you like under. I think they're going to slow the game down a lot. Their advantage is in the half court with their big men, and Julius and Nas can handle the ball. So it's not like you're going to be relying on the guards to get them the ball. They're able to create and get each other the ball. So
even with that, DiVincenzo can handle the ball too. They got ball handlers.
Yeah. So they're not dependent on getting the ball from others to score or be effective. So I do think that they'll slow the game down. The only way I could see it is if Minnesota just has a really good night from three and they score like 130.
I'll dare them to do that without Spencer in the lineup.
Yeah. So I'll take the Timberwolves. I mean, I'll take the under in the game as well.
Cool. Anything else you want to add for this game?
No, I think we pretty much knocked it all out.
Cool. That's going to wrap it up for this really crappy slate. Anyway, before we get into the lock and dog picks, reminder they're brought to you by our sponsor, Novig. So you want to check out prediction markets in sports, check out Novig, the #1 prediction market for sports in America. Get some great prices, a lot of reduced juice options, so check it out. And a reminder, get a nice deal with us at sign up. So download the app, get $50 when you spend just $5 if use our code SGPN and the extra Novig, promo code SGPN. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. So they've been great this season in the NFL, especially with props. Check them out as well for college basketball, for golf. They have a lot of options available with models as well. Very easy to build your own model or copy one from the leaderboard or use the house model if you want to check that out. But a reminder, if you want to check out Rhythm, you can get a nice discount for your first month. Use the code SGPN25. We download the app and you'll get a nice 25% off your first month. Download Rhythm. Once again, promo code SGPN25 for a quarter off your first month. Welcome back, everyone, to the NBA Game Podcast. Finished going through the two games on the Wednesday slate. Time to move on into the lock and dog picks. Lonte, what is going to be your lock and dog for the show?
Yeah, I don't like doing the same game, but I'm going to take the lock. I'm going to take the over in Chicago and Cleveland. I think it's too short. I mean, I know 242 is a lot. It's a lot of points, but I like the over. I think both teams are going to score. We talked about the trends as far as Cleveland going over on the road and Chicago's defensive struggles. So I think we get well up and over that number. And I'm gonna take a shot with Chicago, man. I think it's a highly volatile game. I want to take Chicago to win it outright at home against a struggling Cavs team.
All right. So for my lock, I'm going to go with the Cavs. I'll take the -4.5. End of the day, I don't think really either team's good, but there's still a tier gap here. The Bulls, I said before, have lost 4 straight games at home by double digits against bad competition, objectively bad competition. I think Cleveland, after losing that last game against Charlotte, scoring 0 points in overtime, I think they'll look better, in my opinion, and they already covered the spread in the first meeting on the road against Chicago. I'll go for it. Give me the Cavs -4.5 as my lock for the show. For the dog, I'm going to go for a same-game parlay. I'm going to go with the Timberwolves -7.5 and the under 230.5. Two-pick parlay pays out at +236. End of the day, I don't see Memphis scoring many points. I think Minnesota will bully on the glass, and I think that's enough to win this game by about 10. But I had a 117-105 score prediction, something like that. Give me the Timberwolves and the under in a parlay, and that pays out at +236 as my dog. Moving on to underdog. Lonte, starting off, since you like the over in the Chicago game, are we just taking Mitchell? Is that where we're starting?
Yep, love Mitchell. Yep.
Cool. So for Mitchell, his points are at 30.5.
Yeah, it don't matter. I think he has like 35 plus.
Let me just make sure that that's the same on underdog because it could be 31.5. Let me just confirm. Is it 29.5 actually? Might have saved the point on underdog. Either way. So we'll go for Mitchell higher on his points. Sorry, I'm trying to find where it's listed on underdog. I'm not sure if I actually see it. But I have to imagine it's going to be here. There's only 2 games on the card. So, okay. We'll go with Mitchell higher on his points. We'll say 30.5 for now. Anything else you want to go for? I like Gobert. I think Gobert double-double is worth something.
I like that. I like that as well. I like Gobert as well.
Okay, so we'll go Gobert higher, half a double-double for this one as well. And then we have one more.
Well,
I'll ask you this way. If you're picking Chicago to hang in there and to kind of hold their own,
Giddey.
You're going Giddey. Okay, so you're just going to go with the usual options. That's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me just quickly see what I can get for PRA. 36.5. That work for you?
Work for me. Yep.
Cool. There we go. So 3-pick underdog. We're going to go with Giddey, higher, 36.5 PRA. Gobert, higher, half a double-double. And Mitchell, higher, 30.5 points. I know it's going to wrap it up for the show. Once again, apologies. The schedule is awful today. Not our fault. We resume normal basketball coverage tomorrow. We have a ton of games on Thursday. So if you're looking for your team to come back into action, that's going to happen tomorrow. But we have 2 games today. Anyway, it's going to wrap it up for the show. Back once again tomorrow. Find me on Twitter, Reichel Radio. Find him on Twitter at XXLonteXX. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe to the NBA Gambling Podcast on YouTube. Find the podcast also on Spotify or Apple. Till next time, good luck to all of you and all of your bets. Bye, everyone.
Basketball, give me the ball because I'm gonna